We leave after work and cycle the 15 miles to the train station. We cross national borders and capital cities. We're on our way to the largest national park in the UK. The Cairngorms are right in the heart of the Scottish Highlands, a rugged and remote land, and it's somewhere we've dreamed of cycling for a very long time. This is a story of letting curiosity lead you astray, a tale with twists and turns, moral dilemmas and beautiful meetings in lonely places. A trip filled with such natural beauty, but also one that would change the course of our cycling for good. And our story begins with a late arrival.
About -1.
It's quite chilly.
It's quite cold.
We cycled here in the pitch black and there was lots of mist as well, which was really, really atmospheric, but it means we have no idea what is around
What's around us, which it means tomorrow morning is going to be quite a nice surprise.
It felt strange. Finally in a land we've been fixated on for years. Train cancellations, hospital operations and bad luck had foiled previous attempts. But here we were, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, about to set off for an ambitious off-road loop around the Cairngorms.
You ready to properly experience where we are?
Yeah, to feel the freeze. Yeah. The sun is coming out. It has risen above -1 now. So everything is just starting to melt. So I'm starting to thaw out as well.
I'm excited to cycle.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Really excited to see this Bothy.
This trip starts slowly, setting off in the fog, filled with excited nerves. After such a long build-up, our imaginations had created this elaborate picture, and we were really eager to see how that compared to reality.
So we got here at night,
Yeah.
and we couldn't really see.
I mean, we still can't see that much, but it's so beautiful with these misty trees.
We knew there was tough riding ahead, pedalling towards wonderfully wild and remote environments, inspiring but unforgiving lands that would require caution. But in this peaceful fog, that all seemed worlds away.
It's pretty good, we don't have far to go.
Yeah.
Just can't stop but just taking it all in, it's just incredible.
It's so beautiful. So atmospheric.
Today was our easiest day. We could allow ourselves to get led astray by these atmospheric landscapes. We just had a simple objective: make it to a Bothy, and not just any Bothy.
We were just speaking with a local and he made it sound incredible. So this Bothy has rooms and running water and even a compost toilet, which is a lot more luxurious than we've ever encountered. So it sounds amazing.
We pressed further south, gradually pulling away from the heavy fog. You could see the nature of the route changing. This was our first glance at the vast landscape around us. Civilization was behind us, and ahead lay this dense abyss of rock and earth, trees, rivers, streams and ecosystems. This was a land famed for big, bold adventures, and to really experience the park, this seemed like the best approach for us too.
Following this route along, we cross the Glen Fishy,
Fleshy.
and then find this Bothy.
Bothy.
This wasn't the Bothy, but we did need to cross the river, the Fishy, to get to it.
I assumed it's going to be a bridge.
We can't get across there.
Yeah, we're just going to have to go slowly.
Slowly? It's a bloody river. We're gonna get wet.
It's a Glen Fishy.
It's freezing. It's literally freezing. There is ice on the ground.
Well, you ready?
What we can do? Take our shoes and socks off.
Yeah.
And roll our trousers. I'm not looking forward to this. What if we fall over? Oh, I'm not looking forward to it. Okay.
Then we get to the Bothy as quickly as we can.
This is the only way.
Yeah.
Turns out, 6 of the bridges that were still marked on the OS maps had been washed away in floods. Thankfully though, Sarah remembered there was said to be one still standing a little further south.
Last crossing over the Fishy.
We almost missed it. But
You ready for a river crossing? And to think that we nearly waded through.
yes.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we did it.
Thank you, last bridge over the Fishy. Oh, God.
But there were still more river crossings to go before we could find shelter for the night. It was cold and wet. Our bikes were heavy and the trail testing. But there's a special kind of happiness you get from a good adventure in a new land. The beauty of this day was we were enthralled by the world around us, embracing the more physical aspects of the route, and we had the time to take it all in. This icy makeshift bridge was a highlight rather than an obstacle. We took our time, grinning throughout, knowing the Bothy was only a short distance away.
We found it.
I think we made it. There's wood.
It's hard to believe that this is a Bothy. It's bigger than our house.
Let's go in. I'm excited. Let's go in.
Now we've been to our fair share of Bothys, but this felt more like an inn that time had forgotten.
So we have decided that we're going to sleep upstairs tonight. We've chosen our bedroom because this Bothy is so big it has rooms.
Yeah.
We're going to get cosy and I think we're going to eat some lunch because we've not actually had lunch yet. So
But it's about what? 4 p.m.
It's about 4 p.m. I say only, but I mean it's starting to get dark already. Maybe think about dinner in an hour or two.
The walls were insulated. There was beautiful woodwork throughout. All the cooking pots and pans and cutlery you could need. 2 fires, raised sleeping platforms, and little glimpses of culture and identity hanging on the walls.
And again.
First it came off.
We made one of these and it was an XL fireplug tilly, big one, and then porridge. The tilly was alright, the porridge was disgusting.
With Bothys, I love that you never know what you're going to
I
find.
think it's it.
You could have the place to yourself. You could be sharing with a military squad doing mountain training, as we have before. Or, like this evening, you could be joined by a friendly local bikepacker, happy to share lots of useful trail information and interesting stories. And on this trip, we really lucked out with our fellow Bothy guests.
For the night.
Tomorrow is seeming like a
hard day.
big question mark, and the next few days are seeming like a big question mark.
Yeah.
So
We may have to rethink things.
we're gonna another situation where we have potentially bitten off more than we can chew.
Potentially.
We'll see you in the morning.
Good night.
Over breakfast, we had a little chat with our new friend about our route. He'd mentioned that, with the tricky terrain, the short days and conditions, we might be hard pushed to complete our loop in time for the return train home. We knew it would be an ambitious trip, but this did make us a little hesitant.
So a little pep talk. Today is going to be, I think, very hard. So we got to work as a team, and we can get through it together.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We agreed to push ahead sensibly and see how we got along. A really big thank you to Frith. We're so grateful for all the helpful information.
Not sure where we're going to end up,
No.
but we've got about a minimum of 25 miles to do, and lots of warnings from people for different things. Bit of a bad forecast with apparently like a rainy front coming in soon. Okay, let's go.
And this is where the nature of our video takes a bit of a turn. Sarah is a tough cookie and she was fine. The problem wasn't actually the sketchy trail. This aspect we were loving.
Apparently there's 2 hairy, like, rockfall
So
bits.
she fell down the first hoe bit. Bring on the next hoe bit. So, I think we just made it over the 2 hairy bits. If not, then the hairy bits must be really hairy. Teamwork got us through.
We had a lot of miles to cover in not much time. The problem was we were barely covering any ground, and right now our looped route was taking us further and further away from the train
Is
station.
that one of them?
There were no shortcuts. It was either push ahead or turn around. We could still make the train in 48 hours if we rode in darkness and didn't allow for any distractions. But that just wasn't sitting right.
But it's beautiful. Just, yeah. I think if we weren't trying to rush, it'd be very different.
We'd waited years to come to this beautifully rugged land. Now it just felt like we were rushing around to the train station. Highlights felt like obstacles, the landscape something to slow us down rather than to marvel at. And so we stood in the rain, feeling very torn, deliberating what to do.
I can confirm it's not easy a second time round.
It never feels great turning back, but we asked ourselves why had we come to the Cairngorms? And we realised that answer had changed over the years.
What, do you want to go over the other side? Or?
Yeah, I'll pass it to you.
You pass it to me? Okay.
We realised we were just constantly rushing,
Yeah.
and there's so many things we wanted to take in, and we weren't really.
Yeah, we weren't taking in the landscape at all. We were feeling quite stressed, I think, as well from the rushing, and not really enjoy. Like, we came on this trip to sort of enjoy this area and really take it in, somewhere that we've never been before, and we weren't doing that at all.
Years ago, we were happier cycling hard and pushing ourselves. That was our motivation. But now, it was the landscape that made us happiest. The meetings along the trail, and the smaller details you only notice when you slow down.
There's such beautiful trees.
The plan is go slow, avoid saddle sore,
That's the main thing.
avoid saddle sore for Sarah, and yeah, just to make the most of a place that we're probably not going to get back to for quite a while.
It's beautiful.
And so we did just that. We backtracked and replanned, and immediately the joy came back to the run. We could enjoy the challenges of the trail again.
Go on.
They felt like mini successes
Beautifully done.
rather than setbacks.
Piece of cake.
The Cairngorms are so wonderfully rugged. This change of pace meant we could soak it all up with grins on our faces again.
I don't know about you, but I've decided that these places are too beautiful to rush.
Yes, I am in agreement with you.
Are you in agreement with me?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm glad you're in agreement with me.
What's funny about that?
And so we took one hell of a big, slow detour on the way to a different Bothy. We live in this big, beautiful world filled with intricacies and details. And so far, this trip had really been a reminder you experience so much more of it if you slow down.
Okay, what's the plan?
To go slow, take detours and avoid saddle sore. It's so beautiful here. That is really, really beautiful. It's so vast. I mean, we weren't planning to explore it all whilst we were here, but even the small parts we are exploring, it feels like we need weeks more to really make the most of them. But it's just been amazing. Really, really loving it, and it's really nice sort of the last day of riding to have such good weather and such good temperature. So we'll get up to this Bothy and enjoy our last night, sadly, but it just means we've got to come back.
When you're eager to visit and experience somewhere, it's quite easy to attempt too much. We'd overlooked the subtle for the obvious, assumed simpler options might be less rewarding. This turned out to be one of Europe's largest surviving areas of ancient woodland, a beautifully dense ecosystem filled with rare wildlife, and a vast network of amazing bike tracks. And even though we felt miles away, it was right next to Aviemore, the place we got the train to.
Rainy, empty, beautiful woodland is.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And it smells so good with all these sort of pines in the rain. It smells really, really good.
And you can just hear little sounds of rain on your waterproof.
Bothy was 5 miles off and the sun was slowly setting. We sat and chatted for a long time. We confirmed the obvious: our older, more grueling style of bike trips weren't doing it for us anymore. We'd always thought adventures needed to be big, bold and testing, and that's how we planned trips, even when it stopped working for us. But we were now realising the best trips were the ones that made you happiest. I think we'd be more open-minded going ahead. And so we set off, content with our leisurely chat and slow pace, pedalling towards a Bothy night we wouldn't forget.
So we got about 3 miles to the Bothy.
Yeah,
Bothy.
and it seems to all be uphill,
But
as expected.
yeah, I'm looking forward to bedding down actually. I'm a bit naked.
Yeah.
Temperatures dropping, wind picking up.
Fire's on. How are you feeling?
Yeah, a bit tired, a bit sweaty,
Final resting spot.
but I'm happy to be here.
We unloaded the bikes, sat them inside, and found this trip had at least one more surprise in store for us. It's chance encounters like this which make life and Bothy's so special. This is quite likely the only night of our lives we'll sleep in this Bothy, and very likely the same for these two lovely musicians travelling from America. At the end of tough days on outdoor trips, if battery permits, we treat ourselves to some soothing folk music played from our phone. So this meeting felt very surreal, but like it was meant to be. We tucked into a bottle of Cairngorms Wildcat, and it all felt perfect. Sometimes you just know you're experiencing something you won't forget. We were very grateful to our new friends, and in exchange provided them with beer and wood for the fire.
Oh wow.
The last meal, cooked slowly whilst reflecting on the trip. A simple meal we dehydrated at home, but that tasted perfect too. I think the best trips teach you something. We'd learned that in places like the Cairngorms, less can be so much more, and that the best route is the one that makes you happiest. Keep open-minded and see where it takes you.
So it's the final morning of the trip before we get back to the train station.
Really calm and peaceful, sort of here in the hills. Just sort of all you can hear is running water.
Yeah, and a few grouse flying around.
Knowing that you can just go anywhere and explore, like the open access, it just feels that much more inviting, and it had this feel to it that was just very, very different. More like this is land for you to explore and for you to look after as well. And I don't know, it just felt like a real sort of gift in that way.
The area we have just scratched the surface, and I quite like that. But for now we pack our stuff up,
Yeah.
try and not wake our musical inhabitants, and then a 15-mile cycle back home. Which is luck.
It's because my left hand. Is it your left hand?
Yeah.
We'd written things off for the end of the trip, but the rain cleared and we got one last little surprise.
Incredible.
Such beautiful.
So beautiful.
And we thought that the ride home was just, it's on the road. It wasn't going to be too impressive.
The Cairngorms didn't let us down. Look at it with the mist and the sun.
So beautiful.
Amazing, absolutely incredible.
Out with a bang at the end.
Where are we going?
Abbeymoor!
Where are we?
Abbeymoor!
Where are we leaving soon?
Abbeymoor!
A whirlwind trip filled with twists and turns, moral dilemmas and beautiful meetings in lonely places. A trip filled with such natural beauty, but also one that would change the course of our cycling for good. Thanks for watching, folks. Catch you next time.